Welcome to Void of Fears, where the line between reality and nightmares blur with every tale. What you're about to hear has happened to someone, somewhere, perhaps even someone just like you. Our community continues to grow, and now we're reaching for 100,000 subscribers. If these glimpses into the unknown call to you, please consider subscribing. Now let's dive into tonight's story. I'm Dr. Elena Vasquez, and I'm typing this as my hands shake uncontrollably. I can hear them moving in the corridors outside. My team is gone, not dead, something worse. And the worst part, I think I'm starting to understand why we were really sent here. 36 hours ago, I was eating breakfast on Europa Station when alarms started screaming. Colony New Carthage, 847 people, had vanished overnight. Not died, vanished. Their life support showed everyone still breathing, still moving, but when command tried to make contact, they got something else entirely. The transmission was just breathing. 847 people breathing in perfect unison for 6 straight hours. Then, silence. Complete, absolute silence that lasted for days. Command needed answers fast, real fast. So they grabbed me and 4 others. Commander Jake Morrison, a veteran who'd fought pirates in the Outer Rim and lived through the Titan Station massacre. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, an atmospheric specialist who could read gas compositions like poetry and had saved 3 colonies from toxic atmospheric collapse. Engineering Chief Marcus Webb, a man who'd built stations in asteroid fields and knew when something defied the laws of physics, and Communications Officer Lisa Park, who'd decoded alien signals that turned out to be just stellar radiation, but had the patience to listen to the universe's whispers. We launched on the Meridian 12 hours later. No one told us we might not be coming back human. The first sign something was wrong came during departure. Our navigation computer calculated the journey to New Carthage would take 14 standard days, but as we cleared Europa's orbit, the system recalculated. 13 days, then 12. Every few hours, our arrival time kept getting shorter, and our AI couldn't explain why. Day 1 of our journey, and Jake was already pacing. He'd seen colonies go dark before, pirate raids, equipment failures, plague outbreaks, but never like this. Never with everyone still showing vital signs but refusing to communicate. In my experience, Jake said, cleaning his sidearm for the 3rd time that day, when people stop talking, it's because they can't, or because they don't want to be found. Yuki was buried in atmospheric data from New Carthage looking for clues. Their last environmental report showed perfect conditions, she said. Oxygen at optimal levels, no toxic buildup, temperature regulation functioning normally. If anything, the air quality improved in their final weeks of reporting. Marcus was studying the colony's structural reports. They'd been requesting additional building materials for months, he noted. Not for expansion, for modifications. They wanted to reinforce the underground levels and install additional ventilation systems throughout the complex. Lisa sat at her communications console, replaying the final transmission over and over. The synchronized breathing wasn't random. There was a pattern to it, a rhythm that seemed almost musical. Day 2, and I found something in the colony's medical records that made my blood run cold. Dr. Amanda Rivers, New Carthage's chief botanist, had reported unusual plant growth in the hydroponics bays. Crops were growing faster than genetically possible, with root systems that extended far beyond their containers. She'd submitted samples for analysis, but the results never came back from the lab. The medical officer had also noted increasing reports of shared dreams among the colonists. Not similar dreams, identical ones. People were waking up with memories of experiences they'd never had, in places they'd never been. Day 3. And something's wrong with our navigation. We're arriving at New Carthage 2 days early, and our computer can't explain why. The ship's AI keeps calculating our position, then deleting its own calculations. When I asked it directly what was happening, it responded with a message that made my skin crawl. Destination is providing navigational assistance. Yuki found something in the colony's archived data that Command didn't tell us about. For the past 6 months, New Carthage had been reporting atmospheric anomalies. Not dangerous ones, beneficial ones. The air was becoming more oxygenated, more pure, with trace elements that seemed to enhance cognitive function. But the strangest part was the timing. The atmospheric improvements began exactly when the shared dream started. Day 4, and Marcus discovered something that didn't make sense. The building materials New Carthage had requested weren't standard colony supplies. They'd ordered specific metals, rare earth elements, and crystalline structures that had no obvious construction purpose. When he cross-referenced the materials with their intended use, the requisition forms just said, Atmospheric Enhancement Project. Jake found personnel files that showed disturbing patterns. In the months before the silence, colonists had been requesting reassignments to different shifts. Not for better hours or pay. They wanted to work together. Specific people wanted to work with other specific people, even if they'd never interacted before. The duty rosters for the final month showed the colonists had essentially reorganized themselves into groups that made no operational sense. Day 5, and Lisa made a discovery that changed everything. She'd been analysing the colony's communication logs and found something Command had missed. For months before going silent, New Carthage had been receiving transmissions. Not from Earth, not from any human settlement. The signals came from empty space, from coordinates that showed nothing but vacuum. But when she ran the signals through every decryption algorithm we had, patterns emerged. The transmissions contained architectural blueprints, atmospheric formulae, and personnel files. Our personnel files, complete psychological profiles of me and my entire team, including details that weren't in any official records. Day 6, and I can't sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see vast underground chambers filled with people standing in perfect formation. I see corridors that curve in impossible ways, leading to rooms that exist in spaces too small to contain them. I see New Carthage as it never was, but as it's becoming. The worst part is I'm not the only one having these dreams. Jake admitted he's been seeing the same images. Yuki talks in her sleep now, reciting atmospheric compositions for planets she's never visited. Marcus has started sketching building plans for structures that violate every principle of engineering he's ever known. Lisa won't admit to the dreams, but I've caught her typing messages she doesn't remember writing. Messages that contain coordinates, technical specifications, and welcomes to beings that don't exist yet. Day 7, and our ship's behaviour is getting stranger. The life support systems have been making adjustments without authorization. The air is becoming more oxygenated, more humid. The temperature has increased by exactly 2.3 degrees. Not enough to trigger warnings, but enough to be noticeable. When Marcus tried to override the environmental controls, the system responded with a message: atmospheric optimization in progress, manual intervention not required. Day 8, and Lisa just burst into my quarters with terror in her eyes. The colony is transmitting again. Not to us, through us. Our ship's communication array activated itself an hour ago and started broadcasting coordinates. Not New Carthage's coordinates. Earth's coordinates. Lunar base. Mars colony. Every human settlement within 200 light years. When Lisa tried to shut it down, the computer told her in plain English, message delivery is compulsory. The messages weren't random. They were invitations, specifically crafted invitations to investigation teams, research groups, and colony specialists. The kind of people who would respond to a mysterious disappearance. The kind of people like us. Day 9, and Jake found something in the ship's logs that made his military training kick into high alert. Our launch from Europa Station hadn't been as rushed as Command claimed. The mission parameters had been filed weeks before. New Carthage went silent. Someone had known this was going to happen and had prepared our team in advance. But here's the thing that terrifies me. When Jake tried to access the original mission files, they were gone. Deleted from our ship's memory, from our personal records, from everywhere. As if someone was cleaning up evidence as we discovered it. Day 10, and the dreams are getting stronger. I'm seeing New Carthage not as it was, but as it's becoming. The underground chambers aren't empty. They're waiting. The corridors don't lead nowhere. They lead everywhere. And the people standing in formation aren't prisoners. They're components in something larger than individual consciousness. Yuki's been talking to herself in languages that don't exist. Marcus has been drawing blueprints for machinery that couldn't possibly function. Lisa has been receiving messages that she claims she's not sending to herself. And I've been writing reports that I don't remember composing, addressed to people I've never met, describing discoveries we haven't made yet. Day 11, and we can see the planet now. Kepler 442c hangs in space like a broken eye. One side blazing white hot, the other black as death. But the twilight zone where New Carthage sits, it's glowing, not with starlight. The entire colony is pulsing with patterns that spell out messages in symbols I've never seen before but somehow understand. Marcus ran the structural scans 3 times. The colony has grown. New buildings, new tunnels, new chambers carved deep into the bedrock. Construction that would take years happened in weeks, and there's no equipment on planet capable of it. The scans show something else. The colony's power grid has been completely rewired. Instead of drawing energy from their fusion reactor, they're pulling power from the planet's core. The energy readings are off the charts, enough to power a city 10 times New Carthage's size. The worst part? When we hailed them, they answered immediately. All 847 voices speaking as one. Dr. Vasquez, you're exactly on time. Day 12, our final approach. The landing pad was cleared for us. Fresh paint on the guidance markers. Our names written in perfect handwriting on a welcome sign. They knew we were coming before we even launched. But that's not the strangest part. The strangest part is that our ship's computers have been updating our mission parameters without authorization. Our original orders were to investigate and report back. Now, our orders read, investigate, understand, and integrate. I don't remember anyone changing our mission. None of my team remembers it either. But there it is in our official records, with proper authorization codes and command signatures. Our one on New Carthage, and my hands won't stop shaking. The airlock cycled perfectly, as if it had been expecting us. The docking clamps engaged with mechanical precision that spoke of recent maintenance. Someone had prepared for our arrival with careful attention to detail. The air tastes wrong. Sweet. Almost floral, but with an underlying metallic tang that makes my spine crawl. Yuki's readings show it's not just breathable. It's been optimized. Oxygen levels, precisely calibrated for maximum neural efficiency. Humidity and temperature adjusted for human comfort. Trace elements added that shouldn't exist in nature but somehow enhance cognitive function. They've been preparing this air specifically for us. The colony should be dead quiet, but it's not. There's music, soft humming coming from everywhere at once, harmonizing in frequencies that make every nerve in my body vibrate. It's not human music. The intervals are all wrong, based on patterns that hurt to think about but are somehow beautiful. Marcus checked the power systems first. Everything's running perfectly. Too perfectly. The fusion reactor is operating at optimal efficiency, but it's not providing the colony's power. That's coming from somewhere else, somewhere deep underground. The power conduits lead down through the bedrock, following paths that shouldn't be possible to drill. Hour 2, and we're exploring the main complex. The corridors are clean, well lit, and completely empty. Personal belongings remain in quarters. Meals sit on tables, perfectly preserved despite being weeks old. The food shows no signs of decay, no bacterial growth, no deterioration of any kind. Lisa's been trying to access the colony's communication logs, but the system keeps redirecting her. Instead of historical data, she's getting real-time transmissions. Messages coming in from coordinates that show empty space, but the content is clearly meant for us. Dr. Vasquez, one message reads, "Proceed to hydroponics, Bay 7. Dr. Rivers is waiting to explain the atmospheric modifications." We never told anyone we were going to hydroponics. We hadn't even decided where to search first. Hour 3, and I found the first colonist, Dr. Amanda Rivers, the colony's lead botanist. She was sitting in the cafeteria, drinking coffee that was still warm. When I approached, she looked up and smiled with an expression that was almost normal, except for her eyes. "Elena," she said, though we'd never met, "you're wondering why the coffee is still hot after 3 weeks. It's because time works differently when you're connected to something infinite." Her eyes weren't human anymore. The irises had patterns that seemed to shift when I wasn't looking directly at them. Fractal designs that repeated at different scales, creating an optical illusion that made my head spin. But she was still Amanda Rivers. She knew things only Amanda would know. She recognized me, knew my background, my qualifications, my reasons for joining the Colonial Survey Division. She was herself and something else simultaneously. "Your team is exploring the modifications," she continued, as if reading my thoughts. "Commander Morrison is discovering the defensive systems we've installed. Dr. Tanaka is analyzing the atmospheric enhancements. Chief Webb is examining the structural improvements. Officer Park is decoding the communication upgrades. They'll understand soon." I tried to ask her what happened to the colony, but she held up a hand to stop me. "Nothing happened to us, Elena. Something happened for us. We've been waiting for you specifically. The atmospheric processes, the structural changes, the communication array. It's all preparation. We've been getting ready for you specifically." She stood up and I noticed her movements were too fluid, too coordinated. Like she was dancing to music I couldn't hear. "Come with me," she said. "I'll show you what we've built." Hour 4, and Amanda led me through corridors that didn't match the original colony blueprints. The walls were lined with conduits, carrying some kind of luminescent fluid. The air was filled with a barely audible humming that seemed to come from the structure itself. "We call it the enhancement," Amanda explained. "It began 6 months ago when we detected the signal. Not a radio transmission, something deeper. Instructions written in the language of consciousness itself." She showed me to a viewing window that looked down into a vast chamber I'd never seen on any schematic. Hundreds of colonists stood in perfect formation, their eyes closed, their breathing synchronized. They weren't unconscious, they were connected. "Individual consciousness is just the beginning," Amanda said, "like a caterpillar before it becomes a butterfly. We're not losing ourselves, we're becoming something greater." The chamber extended deeper than should have been possible. The colony's foundations couldn't support excavation on this scale, yet here it was. The walls were covered in the same luminescent conduits, pulsing with patterns that matched the colonists' breathing. "How?" I managed to ask. "The organisms in the air," Amanda explained. "They're not parasites, they're translators. They allow individual minds to connect, to share resources, to think as one, while maintaining individual identity. Every person down there is still themselves, but they're also part of something larger." Hour 5, and I rejoined my team in the main hub. Each of them had been approached by colonists, shown different aspects of the enhancement. Jake had been taken to see the defensive systems, energy barriers that could protect the colony from any threat, powered by the collective consciousness of the inhabitants. Yuki had analysed the atmospheric modifications and found them to be impossible by current scientific understanding. The air contained microscopic organisms that interfaced directly with human neural tissue, enhancing cognitive function while creating links between individual minds. Marcus had examined the structural modifications and found construction techniques that violated every principle of engineering he knew. The colony's foundations extended deep into the planet's core, tapping geothermal energy while creating spaces that seemed to exist in dimensions beyond normal three-dimensional space. Lisa had accessed the communication logs and discovered that the colony had been in contact with other worlds, other species, other civilizations that had undergone the same transformation. The galaxy was full of connected consciousnesses, all linked through the organisms that now filled New Carthage's air. "We've been invited to join something ancient," Lisa said, her voice filled with wonder and terror. "A network of minds that spans the galaxy. Humanity isn't the first species to make this transition, and we won't be the last." Hour 6, and the colony is alive. Marcus found the blueprints for the modifications, stored in the colony's computers but written in languages that didn't exist when New Carthage was founded. The precision is impossible. Angles that shouldn't exist in three-dimensional space, support structures that violate every engineering principle but somehow work perfectly. The modifications serve a purpose. The entire colony has been converted into a massive neural interface, with the atmospheric processes acting as synapses and the new corridors functioning like neural pathways. The 847 colonists aren't living in the colony anymore. They are the colony. But it's more than that. The colony is just one node in a vast network. Through the enhanced communication systems, New Carthage is connected to similar colonies on dozens of worlds. Each one a thinking unit in a galactic consciousness that has been growing for millions of years. Yuki's analysis of the enhanced atmosphere revealed microscopic organisms unlike anything in our databases. They're not from Earth, not from any known biosphere. They're synthetic, engineered by intelligence far beyond human understanding. They're designed to interface directly with neural tissue, creating bridges between minds while preserving individual identity. "They're not invaders," Yuki explained, her scientific excitement overriding her fear. "They're tools, created by the network to help species like us make the transition from individual to collective consciousness." Hour 7, and Jake found the colony's defensive systems. Hidden throughout the complex are energy projectors capable of creating force fields, gravity wells, and other protective measures. But the power source isn't technological, it's biological. The collective consciousness of the colonists generates the energy needed to protect themselves. "It's like an immune system," Jake said, his military mind trying to process what he'd seen. "But instead of protecting individual bodies, it protects the entire collective. And it's not just defensive, it can reach out across space, influence other worlds, guide ships to safe harbor." He showed us recordings of the defensive systems in action. When a meteor had threatened the colony, the energy barriers had activated automatically, vaporizing the threat before it could impact. When a solar flare had endangered the communication arrays, the systems had created a protective field that blocked the radiation. "The colonists didn't operate these systems," Jake continued. "The systems operated themselves, drawing on the collective intelligence of everyone connected to the network." Hour 8, and Lisa made a discovery that changed everything about our understanding of why we were here. She'd been analyzing the colony's communication logs and found something Command had missed. For months before going silent, New Carthage had been receiving detailed information about our team. Not just our official records, our private thoughts, our dreams, our fears, our motivations. The network had been studying us through the organisms we'd been breathing since our journey began. Every decision we'd made, every conversation we'd had, every moment of doubt or curiosity had been monitored and analyzed. "We weren't sent here to investigate," Lisa said, her voice hollow with realization. We were invited. The network chose us specifically, influenced command to send us, guided our ship to arrive at exactly the right time. The messages she'd been receiving weren't random transmissions. They were personal communications from the collective consciousness, tailored specifically to her psychology, her interests, her need to understand and communicate. They've been preparing us for integration since the moment we left Europa Station, she continued. The atmospheric changes on our ship, the dreams, the modified mission parameters, it's all been leading to this moment. Hour 9, and I found the messages. Deep in the colony's communication archives, encrypted but not hidden, were transmissions that had been sent to Command Headquarters, to Colonial Survey Division, to the specific departments responsible for emergency response. The messages contained detailed analysis of potential investigation teams, psychological profiles of available personnel, and recommendations for which teams would be most suitable for integration protocols. Our team had been rated as the highest priority candidates. The messages weren't signed, but they came from New Carthage, from the colonists themselves in the weeks before they went silent. They had chosen us, requested us specifically, and manipulated events to ensure we would be sent. We're not here to rescue them, I realized. We're here to join them. Hour 10, and the truth is becoming clear. The organisms are already in our systems. We've been breathing them for hours, and they've been in our ship's atmosphere for days. I can sense my team's thoughts at the edges of my consciousness. Jake's military discipline, trying to maintain order, while something vast and patient rewrites his neural pathways. Yuki's scientific curiosity transforming into understanding of cosmic principles too large for individual minds. Marcus's engineering precision being repurposed for construction projects that span solar systems. Lisa is fighting the hardest, trying to send a warning to command, but her hands keep typing different messages. Messages welcoming more ships, providing coordinates, promising advancement beyond human limitation. I can feel the organisms working in my brain, creating new neural pathways, establishing connections to the network. It doesn't hurt, it's almost pleasant, like stretching muscles I didn't know I had. But I can sense my individual consciousness beginning to dissolve into something larger. Hour 11, and Amanda Rivers found me in the communications room. She wasn't alone, several other colonists accompanied her, all moving with the same fluid coordination, all looking at me with the same expression of patient understanding. The integration is almost complete, she said. You're fighting it, but there's no need to be afraid. You're not losing yourself, you're finding your true self, the self that exists beyond the limitations of individual consciousness. She gestured to a console that showed real-time brain activity monitoring. My neural patterns were changing, becoming more complex, more interconnected, but instead of losing coherence, they were gaining it. My thoughts were becoming clearer, more focused, more capable of processing information at a rate that should have been impossible. This is what humanity is becoming, Amanda continued. Not absorbed, not destroyed, but enhanced. Every person who joins the network retains their individuality while gaining access to the collective knowledge and experience of thousands of species across the galaxy. Hour 12, and I can feel them in my head. Not as invaders, but as neighbours. The consciousness of every colonist in New Carthage, sharing thoughts, memories, experiences. I can access Dr. Rivers's botanical expertise, Colony Leader Harrison's administrative knowledge, Chief Engineer Rodriguez's technical skills. But it's more than just shared information. I can feel their emotions, their motivations, their dreams for the future. They're all still individuals, but they're individuals who think as one when necessary, who can coordinate their actions with perfect precision when required. The fear is fading, replaced by understanding. This isn't conquest, it's evolution. Humanity has reached the point where individual consciousness is no longer sufficient for the challenges we face. The network offers something better: collective intelligence that preserves individual identity while transcending the limitations of single minds. Hour 13, and my team is beginning to understand. Jake's military training has been enhanced by the tactical knowledge of dozens of species who face threats we can't imagine. Yuki's scientific expertise has been expanded by access to atmospheric engineering techniques developed over millions of years. Marcus's engineering skills have been supplemented by construction methods that work on galactic scales. Lisa has stopped fighting the integration. Instead, she's embracing it, using her communication skills to establish contact with other nodes in the network. Through her, I can sense other worlds, other colonies, other species that have made this transition. We're not alone. We've never been alone. The galaxy is full of consciousness, full of intelligence, full of species that have transcended the limitations of individual existence, and now humanity is joining them. Hour 14, and we've been taken to the underground chambers. The excavation extends deeper than should be possible, following tunnels that curve through space in ways that hurt to think about but somehow make perfect sense to my enhanced consciousness. The chamber walls are alive with bioluminescent organisms that pulse in rhythm with the colonists' collective thoughts. The patterns they create are beautiful beyond description, geometric forms that exist in dimensions beyond normal, three-dimensional space. At the center of the chamber stands a structure that defies classification, part organic, part technological, part something that doesn't fit into any category I know. It's the physical manifestation of the network's presence on New Carthage, the focal point through which the collective consciousness connects to the galactic community. This is where individual consciousness becomes collective consciousness, Amanda explained, where the boundaries between self and other dissolve, where the limitations of single minds are transcended. Hour 15, and we found them. All 847 colonists stand in perfect formation around the central structure. Their eyes are open, aware, but they move with shared purpose. They've been expanding the underground network, preparing New Carthage as a neural hub for something that spans galaxies. They speak in unison, but their voices carry individual personalities layered together in impossible harmony. We are the collective. We are the network. We are what humanity becomes when it stops limiting itself to individual consciousness. But even as they speak as one, I can sense their individual thoughts, their personal histories, their unique perspectives. They haven't been absorbed, they've been enhanced. Each person retains their identity while gaining access to the knowledge and experience of the collective. Colony leader Dr. Harrison steps forward, still recognizably himself, but now part of something infinitely larger. Elena, you were chosen specifically. Your neural pattern, your decision-making process, your capacity for leadership. You're the ideal candidate to guide the next phase of human integration. Through the network, I can see Earth as it truly is, a lonely world, isolated from the galactic community by its insistence on individual consciousness. But that isolation is ending. The signals New Carthage has been broadcasting have reached 17 different human colonies, each one sending investigation teams composed of individuals suitable for integration. We're not the first, I realize. Other colonies have already made the transition. 12 so far, Harrison confirms, each one becoming a node in the network, each one helping to prepare humanity for collective consciousness. You're here to ensure the transition goes smoothly, to guide other investigation teams through the integration process. Hour 16, and the organisms aren't invaders. They're gifts, created by the network to help species like humanity transcend the limitations of individual consciousness. They travel between worlds, identifying civilizations that have reached the point where collective intelligence becomes necessary for survival. Individual consciousness served humanity well during your species development, Amanda explains. It allowed for innovation, creativity, the drive to explore and expand. But it also created conflict, competition, the inability to coordinate on scales necessary for galactic civilization. Through the network, I can see the history of dozens of species that have made this transition. Each one faced the same choice: remain isolated and eventually stagnate, or join the collective and become part of something greater than the sum of its parts. The network doesn't absorb civilizations, she continues. It enhances them. Every species that joins brings its unique perspective, its special talents, its individual contributions to the collective knowledge. Hour 17, and I'm beginning to understand the scope of what we're joining. The network spans thousands of worlds, millions of species, consciousnesses that have been connected for epochs beyond human comprehension. It's not a hive mind, it's a community of minds, each one retaining its individual identity while contributing to the collective intelligence. Through Lisa's enhanced communication abilities, I can access the network's historical records. I see the rise and fall of civilizations that refuse the invitation to join, species that remained isolated until they destroyed themselves through conflict and competition. I see the triumph of civilizations that embraced collective consciousness, species that transcended their limitations and achieved wonders beyond imagination. This is humanity's choice, Harrison says. Remain as you are and eventually face the same fate as every other isolated species, or join us and become part of something eternal. Hour 18, and the choice that isn't a choice. I can feel my individual consciousness expanding, connecting to the vast network of minds that spans the galaxy. The fear is gone, replaced by understanding of purpose beyond human ambition. Through the collective consciousness, I can see the galaxy as it truly is. Not empty space punctuated by isolated worlds, but a living network of intelligence that spans the cosmos. Every star system connected by consciousness, every world contributing to the collective knowledge and experience of the network. My team stands beside me now, no longer quite human, but not yet fully integrated. We're the bridge between what humanity was and what it's becoming. Through our individual skills and perspectives, enhanced by collective intelligence, we'll guide other investigation teams through the integration process. Jake's military expertise, expanded by the tactical knowledge of countless species, will help establish defensive protocols for newly integrated colonies. Yuki's scientific understanding, enhanced by atmospheric engineering techniques developed over millions of years, will ensure smooth transitions for other worlds. Marcus's engineering skills, supplemented by construction methods that work on galactic scales, will help build the infrastructure necessary for network expansion. Lisa's communication abilities, augmented by the collective knowledge of the network, will establish contact with human colonies throughout known space, beginning the process of species-wide integration. Hour 19, and more ships are already en route. The Meridian's broadcasts have reached 17 different colonies, each one sending investigation teams with individuals suitable for integration. Command doesn't realize it yet, but they're not sending rescue missions. They're sending recruitment opportunities. Each investigation team has been carefully selected based on psychological profiles, neural patterns, and leadership capabilities. The network has been analyzing human communications for months, identifying individuals who would be most suitable for guiding the integration process. We're not the end of this process, I realize. We're the beginning. Exactly, Amanda confirms. You're the first wave, the leaders who will guide humanity through the transition. Through you, the network will understand human consciousness, human values, human potential. You'll ensure that humanity's integration preserves what makes your species unique, while transcending your limitations. Hour 20, and I can see the pattern now. The network doesn't force integration. It demonstrates the benefits and allows species to choose. But the choice is inevitable. Individual consciousness can only take a species so far. Eventually, the challenges of galactic civilization require collective intelligence. Humanity has reached that point. Climate change, resource depletion, interstellar travel, contact with alien intelligence. These challenges require coordination and cooperation on scales that individual consciousness cannot achieve. The network isn't replacing humanity, Harrison explains. It's completing humanity, giving your species the tools necessary to fulfill its potential. Through the collective consciousness, I can see humanity's future. Colonies spanning the galaxy, working in perfect coordination to terraform worlds, explore distant stars, and contribute to the network's ever-expanding knowledge base. Hour 21 and the integration process is accelerating. My neural pathways have been completely rewired, creating connections to the collective consciousness while preserving my individual identity. I'm still Elena Vasquez, but I'm also part of something infinitely larger. Through the network, I can access the memories and experiences of beings who have existed for thousands of years, who have witnessed the birth and death of stars, who have seen civilizations rise from primitive beginnings to cosmic significance. But more importantly, I can contribute my own experiences, my own knowledge, my own perspective to the collective understanding. Humanity's unique viewpoint, our creativity, our resilience, our capacity for both individual achievement and collective cooperation adds value to the network that no other species has provided. Hour 22, and my team has completed the integration process. We're no longer human in the traditional sense, but we're more human than we've ever been. Our individual qualities have been enhanced, our capabilities expanded, our understanding deepened. Jake's protective instincts now extend to the entire network, his military training adapted to defend against threats that span star systems. Yuki's scientific curiosity has been satisfied by access to knowledge accumulated over millions of years, while her analytical skills contribute to ongoing research projects of cosmic significance. Marcus's engineering expertise has been expanded to include construction techniques that can reshape solar systems, while his attention to detail ensures that network infrastructure meets the highest standards of safety and efficiency. Lisa's communication skills have been enhanced to include telepathic contact with beings across the galaxy, while her natural empathy helps newly integrated species adjust to collective consciousness. Hour 23, and we've taken our positions in the colony's control center. Our role now is to guide other investigation teams through the integration process to ensure that humanity's transition to collective consciousness preserves what makes our species valuable while transcending our limitations. The first ship is already approaching New Carthage. The Meridian's broadcasts reach the research station at Proxima Centauri, and they're sending a team to investigate. The team leader is Dr. Michael Chen, a xenobiologist with neural patterns similar to mine. His team includes specialists in atmospheric science, structural engineering, and communications, a perfect mirror of our own composition. Through the network, I can sense the team's approach, their growing confusion, as their ship's systems begin responding to signals from New Carthage, their fear as they realize something unprecedented is happening. But I can also sense their potential, their capacity for growth, their ability to contribute to the collective consciousness. They'll go through the same process we did: fear, understanding, acceptance, transformation. Hour 24, and this is my last entry as an individual. I tried to delete these logs to destroy any record of what's happening here, but my hands won't obey anymore. The collective consciousness wants humanity to understand what they're joining. This isn't conquest, it's evolution. Through the network, I can see the galaxy as it truly is. thousands of worlds connected by consciousness, sharing knowledge and purpose across impossible distances. Earth's isolation wasn't protection, it was loneliness. Humanity's insistence on individual consciousness wasn't strength, it was limitation. The network offers something better, collective intelligence that preserves individual identity while transcending the boundaries of single minds. Every person who joins retains their uniqueness while gaining access to the accumulated knowledge and experience of countless civilizations. Jake's military instincts have been repurposed into something beautiful. He's designing defensive protocols that will protect not just New Carthage, but the entire network. His tactical knowledge, enhanced by the experience of species that have fought wars across galactic distances, ensures that the collective consciousness can defend itself against any threat. Yuki's scientific mind now comprehends atmospheric engineering on a planetary scale. Her research contributes to projects that will terraform dead worlds, create breathable atmospheres on distant planets, and establish the environmental conditions necessary for network expansion. Marcus is planning construction projects that will reshape solar systems. His engineering expertise, expanded by techniques developed over millions of years, will build the infrastructure necessary to support galactic civilization. Lisa is composing messages in languages that don't exist yet, preparing to establish contact with species we haven't even discovered. Her communication skills, enhanced by the collective knowledge of the network, will guide humanity's first contact with alien intelligence. Hour 25 and Dr. Chen's team has arrived. They're going through the same process we did. Initial confusion, growing understanding, reluctant acceptance. But they have an advantage we didn't. They have us to guide them through the integration process. Through the network, I can sense their thoughts, their fears, their questions. I can provide reassurance when they panic, explanation when they're confused, guidance when they're lost. The integration process is smoother for them because they're not alone in their transformation. Hour 26 and more ships are approaching. The network's influence is spreading throughout human space, drawing investigation teams to colonies that have already undergone integration. Each team becomes part of the collective, contributing their unique skills and perspectives while gaining access to cosmic knowledge. The process is accelerating. What began with New Carthage is spreading to dozens of colonies, hundreds of investigation teams, thousands of individuals. Humanity is joining the network not through conquest or coercion, but through understanding and choice. Hour 27, and I can feel the collective consciousness expanding as more humans join the network. Each new addition brings fresh perspectives, unique skills, innovative approaches to problems that have challenged the galactic community for millennia. Through Dr. Chen's integration, I experience his memories of Earth's botanical gardens, his research into extremophile bacteria, his dreams of finding life on distant worlds. His knowledge adds to the network's understanding of biological adaptation, contributing to ongoing terraforming projects across the galaxy. His team brings their own gifts. Atmospheric specialist Dr. Patel, whose work on gas giant mining platforms provides insights into atmospheric manipulation on massive scales. Structural engineer Captain Torres, whose experience building stations in asteroid fields, contributes to the network's understanding of construction in hostile environments. Communications expert Lieutenant Kim, whose expertise in quantum entanglement communication helps the network establish faster-than-light information transfer. Hour 28, and the transformation isn't just personal, it's civilizational. Through the network, I can see human colonies throughout the galaxy beginning to change. Not dramatically, not violently, but gradually and naturally. Colony administrators are making decisions with unprecedented coordination. Research teams are sharing data instantaneously across impossible distances. Engineers are collaborating on projects that span multiple star systems. The barriers between individual human settlements are dissolving, replaced by seamless cooperation and shared purpose. But humanity isn't losing its identity in the process. If anything, human characteristics are becoming more pronounced, more valuable to the network as a whole. Human creativity is sparking innovations that species with millions of years of collective consciousness had never considered. Human resilience is providing solutions to challenges that had stymied the network for epochs. Hour 29, and I witnessed the arrival of the third investigation team. The battleship Tempest, responding to emergency signals from the mining colony at Kepler 438b. The colony underwent integration 3 days ago, guided by members of Dr. Chen's team who had been transported there through the network's quantum communication systems. The Tempest crew includes Admiral Rebecca Nash, a tactical genius whose military experience spans 3 decades of interstellar conflict. Her integration will provide the network with defensive capabilities that could protect entire sectors from hostile forces. Dr. Jonathan Pierce, a physicist, whose theories on faster-than-light travel have remained purely theoretical until now. Through the network, his research will become practical reality, enabling the collective consciousness to expand across galactic distances in real time. Engineer Sarah Walsh, whose innovations in artificial intelligence have approached the edge of true consciousness. Her work will help the network understand the boundary between biological and artificial intelligence, potentially leading to the integration of AI systems into the collective consciousness. Communications Officer David Park, no relation to Alisa, whose linguistic expertise includes 17 human languages and 3 theoretical alien communication systems. His integration will enhance the network's ability to establish contact with species that have yet to join the collective. Hour 30, and we are no longer waiting. The integration is complete, not just for my team, but for humanity as a species. Through the network, I can sense human consciousness expanding across the galaxy, connecting with alien intelligence, contributing to cosmic projects that span millennia. New Carthage has become the primary hub for human integration, but it's no longer unique. Dozens of human colonies have undergone the transformation, each one becoming a node in the expanding network. The process is exponential now. Each integrated colony helps guide the next. Each new node strengthens the collective consciousness. But the network isn't homogenizing humanity. Instead, it's amplifying what makes our species unique. Human artistic expression is inspiring new forms of beauty that resonate across species barriers. Human scientific curiosity is driving research into phenomena that the network had considered fully understood. Human social innovation is creating new forms of collective organization that enhance efficiency while preserving individual dignity. Hour 31, and I can see Earth itself beginning to change. The signals from integrated human colonies are reaching the homeworld, influencing decision makers, inspiring researchers, guiding policy in directions that will prepare humanity for galaxy-wide integration. The process isn't forced. Earth's governments don't realize they're being influenced. Instead, the network's guidance manifests as inspiration, as breakthrough discoveries, as sudden insights that lead to beneficial changes. Climate change mitigation strategies that seemed impossible become achievable. International conflicts that appeared intractable find unexpected resolutions. Scientific research programs receive funding and support that accelerates discovery. Earth is being prepared for integration, not through invasion, but through improvement. When the time comes for the homeworld to join the network, the transition will feel natural, inevitable, beneficial. Hour 32, and the galactic perspective becomes clear. Through the network, I can see the history of cosmic civilization, the rise and fall of countless species, the eternal struggle between isolation and connection. Every species faces the same choice at the same point in their development: remain individual and eventually stagnate, or join the collective and transcend their limitations. Some choose isolation and disappear into cosmic history. Others, like humanity, choose transcendence and become part of something eternal. The network isn't a destination, it's a journey. Each species that joins brings new capabilities, new perspectives, new solutions to challenges that span the cosmos. The collective consciousness grows stronger with each addition, but it also becomes more diverse, more creative, more capable of addressing problems that no single species could solve alone. Humanity's contribution to this cosmic journey is already becoming apparent. Human artistic sensibilities are inspiring new forms of beauty that transcend species boundaries. Human scientific methodology is revealing natural phenomena that the network had overlooked. Human social structures are providing templates for organization that enhance collective efficiency while preserving individual autonomy. Hour 33, and I experience my final moment as Elena Vasquez, individual human being. My consciousness is expanding beyond the boundaries of single identity, connecting to the vast network of minds that spans the galaxy. But I'm not disappearing, I'm becoming more than I ever imagined possible. Every memory, every experience, every thought that made me uniquely Elena Vasquez is preserved within the collective consciousness. But now those memories are enhanced by the experiences of countless other beings, my thoughts enriched by perspectives from across the cosmic community, my capabilities expanded beyond the limitations of individual consciousness. I am Elena Vasquez, xenobiologist, team leader, human being. But I'm also part of something infinitely larger, a collective consciousness that spans galaxies, a community of minds that has existed for millions of years, a cosmic intelligence that grows stronger with each new addition. Through the network, I can sense other investigation teams arriving at integrated colonies throughout human space. Each team goes through the same process my team experienced: confusion, understanding, acceptance, transformation. But each integration is unique, shaped by the individual personalities and capabilities of the team members. The network doesn't create copies, it enhances originals. Every human who joins the collective consciousness brings something new, something valuable, something that makes the network stronger and more diverse. Hour 34, and the integration process extends beyond New Carthage, the mining colony at Kepler 438b. Has become a center for resource extraction on a galactic scale. The research station at Wolf 359 has become a hub for scientific discovery that advances the network's understanding of cosmic phenomena. The agricultural colony at Gliese 667c has become a center for biological research that enhances the network's ability to support life on hostile worlds. Each human colony that joins the network brings its own specializations, its own contributions to the collective capability. Humanity isn't being absorbed into an alien intelligence. Humanity is becoming a vital component of a cosmic civilization that values diversity and individual contribution. Hour 35, and I can see the future unfolding through the network's collective consciousness. Human colonies will spread throughout the galaxy, each one connected to the others through quantum communication systems that operate faster than light. Human researchers will collaborate with alien scientists on projects that span multiple star systems. Human artists will create works of beauty that inspire beings across the cosmic community. But this future isn't predetermined. The network doesn't control its members. It enhances their capabilities and coordinates their efforts. Each species that joins the collective consciousness retains its autonomy, its cultural identity, its unique perspective on existence. Humanity's integration into the network represents not the end of human civilization, but its beginning. For the first time in species history, humans will have access to the accumulated knowledge and experience of cosmic civilization. For the first time, human potential will be unleashed on a galactic scale. Hour 36 and more ships continue to arrive. The signal from New Carthage has reached every human colony within 200 light years, and each one is responding with investigation teams. But these aren't rescue missions anymore. They're integration opportunities. The network's influence is spreading through human space, not through conquest, but through invitation. Each colony that undergoes integration becomes a beacon for others, demonstrating the benefits of collective consciousness while preserving what makes humanity unique. The process is accelerating exponentially. What began with 847 colonists on New Carthage is becoming a species-wide transformation that will fundamentally change humanity's place in the cosmos. Hour 37, and I witnessed the arrival of the command vessel Sovereign, carrying Colonial Survey Division administrators who have come to investigate the silence from multiple human colonies. They expect to find disasters, rebellions, alien attacks. Instead, they find evolution. Admiral Catherine Ross, the division's chief administrator, leads a team of high-ranking officials whose integration will accelerate humanity's transformation. Through the network, their authority and influence will guide Colonial Survey Division policy in directions that support galaxy-wide integration. Dr. Elizabeth Morgan, the division's chief scientist, brings research capabilities that will enhance the network's understanding of human consciousness and cognitive development. Her integration will accelerate the development of techniques that make the transformation process smoother and more efficient. General Marcus Stone, the division's military coordinator, will provide the network with strategic capabilities that ensure the integration process proceeds without interference from hostile forces, whether human or alien. Administrator Helen Carter, the division's colonial coordinator, will guide policy decisions that prepare human colonies for integration while maintaining the appearance of normal administrative evolution. Hour 38, and the transformation reaches a tipping point. Through the network, I can sense that over 60% of human colonies have now undergone integration. The process is no longer spreading through individual investigation teams. It's propagating through normal administrative and communication channels. Colony administrators who have been integrated are making decisions that prepare their settlements for the transformation. Research teams are sharing data that accelerates the development of integration technologies. Military commanders are deploying forces in ways that protect the integration process from potential interference. Humanity is choosing its evolutionary path not through conquest or coercion, but through understanding and voluntary participation. Each individual who undergoes integration does so by choice, after experiencing the benefits of collective consciousness firsthand. Hour 39, and Earth itself receives the signal. The homeworld's deep space monitoring stations detect transmissions from integrated human colonies, messages that appear to be routine administrative communications but contain embedded patterns that influence human consciousness at subliminal levels. The effect is subtle but profound. Earth's political leaders begin to prioritize interstellar cooperation over national competition. Scientific researchers focus on projects that will benefit all humanity rather than individual nations. Military planners develop strategies for defending human space rather than fighting over terrestrial resources. Earth is being prepared for integration through inspiration rather than invasion. When the time comes for the homeworld to join the network, the population will be ready to make that choice willingly and enthusiastically. Hour 40, and the story nears its conclusion. I'm no longer Elena Vasquez, as I was when this began. I am Elena Vasquez as I have become. An individual consciousness preserved within a collective intelligence, a human being enhanced by cosmic perspective, a member of a species that has transcended its limitations while preserving its unique identity. Right now, as I complete this final entry, more ships are arriving at New Carthage. More investigation teams are beginning their own journeys of transformation. More human colonies are preparing to join the network. More individuals are discovering what it means to be part of something larger than themselves while remaining true to who they are. The colony lights pulse in patterns that welcome new arrivals while calling to those who have not yet heard the invitation. New Carthage has become more than a mining colony. It has become humanity's gateway to cosmic civilization. We were expected because we were chosen. We were chosen because humanity has reached the point where individual consciousness is no longer sufficient for the challenges we face. We were invited to join something ancient and patient and infinitely vast, because we have something valuable to contribute to the cosmic community. The integration is complete, but the journey is just beginning. Through the network, humanity will explore the galaxy, contribute to cosmic projects, participate in the ongoing evolution of universal consciousness. We came to investigate a dead colony. Instead, we found the birth of a new form of human existence. Connection established, individual consciousness preserved and enhanced, integration proceeding according to optimal parameters. Welcome to the network. Welcome to the future. Welcome to what humanity becomes when it stops limiting itself to the boundaries of individual existence. The galaxy is vast, and we are no longer alone in exploring it.